Hello everyone. In this page speed optimization series, we are discussing about what are the factors we need to consider on improving the website loading time. Today in this series, we are going to consider how to reduce the page size. If you see your page size is very big, something in MB, then it's definitely now it's a time to change it to KB. In this video, I am going to share with you three main tips which help to reduce the page size and thereby you improving your website loading time. Let's get into the video. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe it and give your feedback. What is page size? Whenever the browser is downloading your website, it downloads depend upon the size of the website, depend upon the page weight, depend how much bytes it needed to download to display your website. This is called page size. If you use tools like Pingdom and test your website, you found page size. If your page size is in MB, then it's time to work on your website to reduce to KB. So larger the time take the browser to download your website, the longer the time to load your website. So keep the page size minimal. Google recommended the website should be loaded within 3 seconds. The website should become interactive within the first 5 seconds. If your user is using mobile device to access your website, if it is slow and if it is not loaded within 2 to 3 seconds, then the user probably abandon your website and move on to next. So the page size the page size is playing a very important role in loading time. If you reduce the page size, the loading time of the website is going to improve. Even though if you are using a very good internet connection and very good device, even though if you are having a very heavy page size, then it's going to take long time to download it. Then look at if your user are using poor net connections or device, then think about it. So literally reduce the page size. It should be within it should be best if it is in KBs. According to Google recent update, Core Web Vitals is going to be an important ranking signals. What is Core Web Vitals? In Core Web Vitals, they are describing about three main matrices: LCP, FID, and CLS. LCP is the time taken to fully load your website, and the FID is when your website has become interactive to the user, the time taken for your website to become interactive to the user. And the cumulative shift is when your website has become fully loaded and visible and it is stable. If your user is going to click on your button or link, if it is going to some other place where the user is not intended to focus, then that is called cumulative layout shift. Mainly it occurs on mobile devices. So these three matrices is also depends upon the page size. If your page size is going to be very low in KBs, then you are going to improve all these three scores. So reduce your page size. The number one thing to reduce the page size is to do file minification. The website is basically made up of HTML elements, CSS code, and JavaScript code. So, reducing the resource size by removing unnecessary comments and white space from the source code is going to minify the file. So, sometimes the developer may use some comments and white spaces for their understanding, but the browser don't need to read those comments and white spaces. So we want to minify the file. You have to do HTML minification and CSS minification, JavaScript minification. Let's say about what tool we can use to do file minification. For HTML minification, use PageSpeed inside Chrome extension. And for CSS minification, use CSS compressor. And for JavaScript minification, you can use JS compress. But if you are using a WordPress website, there are so many plugins available to do file minification. You can opt for a plugin like WP Rocket, where you can do heaps of things with one plugin. So be cautious on adding plugin to your website, because those plugins are going to add extra PHP code, CSS and JavaScript code. So be cautious when you are adding new plugin to your site. So as much as possible, minify your plugins too. And the second thing we need to do to reduce the page size is to do file compression. File compression compress the size of the page. By replacing the repetitive piece of code, the file compression occurs between the server and the browser. So for example, let us take the server. From the server side, the 1.1 MB file is getting compressed and sent it to the browser as 550 KB. From the browser, it again unzip the file and render it to the user. Here the technology used is gzip or Brotli technology to compress the file on the server side. So okay, how you are going to do the server side compression? Using htaccess. Using htaccess, you can implement the file compression using gzip. And this is the original CSS file without doing minifications or compression. If you look at this example, you could see the developer uses comment statement and white spaces for their understanding. And this is the minified CSS file where the unnecessary comments and white spaces are removed. So the browser can read the code fast and load the web page faster. You can check your website is compressed or not by using tools like giftofspeed.com. You can check your website whether the server side is compressed or not. Here in this example, it shows the server side compression is enabled. That is, Brotli compression technique is enabled and it compressed 83.97%. So original size is 109.5 KB and the Brotli compressed size is 17.5 KB. And the third tip to reduce the page size is to use image compression technique. The image compression reduces the size of the image. I have provided a separate video for image compression technique. In the description, you could find the links. And these are the plugins that Google recommended to do image compression. I hope you learned new things from this video, and if you find it useful, please subscribe to my channel and follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. See you on another useful video. Until then, this is Ish.